The performance of local candidates and local infrastructure are emerging as key issues voters are raising after voting in the Aston by-election. Victorian political reporter Simon Love has more.
In the leafy outer eastern suburbs of Melbourne, these voters are having to come to a polling booth for the third time in 12 months following last November's state election and the federal election in May. At that election, the Liberals' margin was slashed by Labor to only 2.8%. So any further swing when results emerge tonight could spell trouble for the Liberals. Voter turnout has been a key issue during the past fortnight, even prompting a plea and a warning from the Australian Electoral Commission. The queue was long at opening time at this polling booth in the suburb of Ferntree Gully, but officials expect a steady turnout and expect that to continue through the day. As for issues on the minds of voters, many say local roads and local representation is key to their decision.
This time was Labor. I think the behaviour of the Liberal Party over the past decade has let us down severely, so hopefully they can pull their things together again, but I'm not hopeful at this stage.
I like Roshana. I think she's a strong woman and she's got a lot to offer. The legal background, and I think she'll be, a good strength for us.
Not only is there much at stake for the Liberals federally, insiders say that if they hold Aston, it's the beginning of the rebuild of their battered brand. One or two voters have mentioned that to me here on the booths. So it's a small sign that there's a problem which the party of opposition, both state and federally, needs to fix. As for Labor, achieving the party's aspirational goal of snatching this seat will be no mean feat. Labor believes the ties of local Mary Doyle to this community, despite living just outside the electorate boundary, is a big point of difference to Roshana Campbell, who was moved from inner city Brunswick to outer suburban Melbourne, only after pre-selection. Ultimately, voters have their own reasons for their decisions, many of which are removed from party politics or even the Canberra bubble. Though when the results do emerge, it will prove that these voters in Aston are very keen for strong local representation in Canberra.
Both the Prime Minister and the federal opposition leader have visited polling booths in the Aston electorate today. It is the third time in less than 12 months residents in Melbourne's outer east have had to head to the polls. Let's go live now to Georgia Simpson, who is at Listerfield Primary School. How's it going there?
Well, Janie, both Peter Dutton and Roshana Campbell are here at the moment at the Listerfield Primary School polling booth. It is quiet here at the moment. At the moment, media, volunteers and AEC staff outnumber voters, but they are here on the ground trying to win over those last-minute votes. No matter where we've been today or over the electorate over the past few weeks, cost of living is a major issue for voters here, particularly as this is a mortgage-built seat. 41% of people in Aston do have a mortgage, so as I said before, we are hearing that cost of living is a major issue, and this is something that Roshana Campbell and Peter Dutton are really zeroing in on as they sort of, try and win over those last-minute votes.
Having the privilege of speaking to voters before they cast their ballot about the issues that matter to them. And what we're hearing is cost of living is biting hard here in Aston. Families are really concerned about those broken promises. Interest rates were meant to be lower, grocery prices, energy bills, but they've all gone up, up, up.
Obviously, various factors at the general election, and that's a matter of history. I think today, though, is it's not a general election. It's not about changing the government. It's about electing a strong local representative.
Today there has been a bit of focus on the fact that Roshana Campbell doesn't actually live in this electorate. She lives in Melbourne's inner north. She has said that she would rent a house here throughout the election campaign, and if she does become elected, she will move here. She dodged questions today about whether or not she's actually living in that rented property. It is important to note that Mary Doyle, the Labor candidate, also doesn't live in this electorate, but she does live 10 minutes down the road. She has been out this morning as well with the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese. He received quite a rock star reception to a polling booth in Bayswater earlier this morning. We spoke to him, we spoke to Mary. Mary acknowledges that this is a bit of a mountain to climb. No government has won a seat off an opposition at a by-election in more than 100 years. She says she's up to the challenge, particularly with the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, by her side.
I realise this is a huge mountain to climb, and I understand that was a very big swing last year, and I understand that, you know, there were a number of factors involved, obviously. But I'd like to think that some of that swing was due to my campaign last year. I ran a very grassroots campaign. A lot of people got involved, and, you know, there was a lot of hard work on our part.
In Mary Doyle, we've got a champion. Mary Doyle's someone who knows what it's like to do it tough. She's fully aware of the pressures that are on families in this community from cost of living, and that's why she wants to be a strong advocate as part of the government that I'm proud to lead.
So both party leaders flanking their candidates around Aston this morning. As I mentioned before, it has been quiet at polling booths. This is something that the Australian Electoral Commission has also noted. Pre-polling is down 20% compared to last year. So I think both parties are trying to make sure that people know that a by-election is on. The people we have spoken to, it's really hard to gauge which way they are going to go. They all say that cost of living is a major issue. Of course, we know both parties sort of have ideas and policies in place to sort of help with those costs of living. It seems to be pretty even across the ground though, Janie, when we are speaking to people. Take a listen.
We didn't expect Alan to leave so early and before the term, so here we are getting our new candidate, so we'll see how it goes.
Frustrated voters, probably. Because I only just did it not so long ago.
But what is it, the third time? Yes.
So, yeah, just a little frustrated, and glad when it'll all be over. And hopefully we'll get some good government, because I don't feel we have much good government.
So no further clarity there. Both major parties believe it will be close. As for who it will be, Liberal or Labor, I guess we'll just have to wait and see once those polls close at about 6 o'clock tonight. Janie?
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, Georgia Simpson, live in Melbourne. And do tune in if you can to Sky News tonight, 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, for our full coverage of the Aston by-election. Our team of experts will be live from Melbourne as the votes are counted in. The first electoral test for Anthony Albanese and Peter Dutton since last year's federal poll.